Reverse a string in Python. There is no built-in reverse function for Python's str object. What is the best way of implementing this method? If supplying a very concise answer, please elaborate on its efficiency. For example, whether the str object is converted to a different object, etc.
Using slicing. Slice notation takes the form, start column stop column step. In this case, we omit the start and stop positions since we want the whole string. We also use step equals -1, which means, repeatedly step from right to left by one character.
At Paolo's S column -1 is fastest. A slower approach, maybe more readable, but that's debatable, is .join reversed.
What is the best way of implementing a reverse function for strings? My own experience with this question is academic. However, if you're a pro looking for the quick answer, use a slice that steps by -1. Or more readably, but slower due to the method name lookups and the fact that join forms a list when given an iterator, str.join. Or for readability and reusability, put the slice in a function. And then longer explanation. If you're interested in the academic exposition, please keep reading. There is no built-in reverse function in Python's str object. Here is a couple of things about Python strings you should know. In Python, strings are immutable. Changing a string does not modify the string. It creates a new one. Strings are sliceable. Slicing a string gives you a new string from one point in the string, backwards or forwards, to another point, by given increments. They take slice notation or a slice object in a subscript. The subscript creates a slice by including a colon within the braces. To create a slice outside of the braces, you'll need to create a slice object. A readable approach. While .join reversed foo is readable, it requires calling a string method, str.join, on another called function, which can be rather relatively slow. Let's put this in a function, we'll come back to it. Most performant approach. Much faster is using a reverse slice. But how can we make this more readable and understandable to someone less familiar with slices or the intent of the original author? Let's create a slice object outside of the subscript notation, give it a descriptive name, and pass it to the subscript notation. Implement as function. To actually implement this as a function, I think it is semantically clear enough to simply use a descriptive name. And usage is simply what your teacher probably wants. If you have an instructor, they probably want you to start with an empty string, and build up a new string from the old one. You can do this with pure syntax and literals using a while loop. This is theoretically bad because, remember, strings are immutable, so every time where it looks like you're appending a character onto your new underscore string, it's theoretically creating a new string every time. However, Python knows how to optimize this in certain cases, of which this trivial case is one. Best practice. Theoretically better is to collect your substrings in a list, and join them later. However, as we will see in the timings below for Python, this actually takes longer, because Python can optimize the string concatenation. Timings. Here are the timings. Python optimizes string concatenation, whereas other implementations may not. Do not rely on Python's efficient implementation of in-place string concatenation for statements in the form a plus equals b or a equals a plus b. This optimization is fragile even in Python, it only works for some types, and isn't present at all in implementations that don't use recounting. In performance-sensitive parts of the library, the join form should be used instead. This will ensure that concatenation occurs in linear time across various implementations.
Quick answer, TL, Doctor. Example. Detailed answer. Background. This answer is provided to address the following concern from Heterodigity. Wow. I was horrified at first by the solution Paolo proposed, but that took a back seat to the horror I felt upon reading the first comment. That's very Pythonic. Good job. I'm so disturbed that such a bright community thinks using such cryptic methods for something so basic is a good idea. Why isn't it just s.reverse? Problem. Context. Python 2.x, Python 3.x. Scenario. Developer wants to transform a string, transformation is to reverse order of all the characters. Solution. Example 01 produces the desired result, using extended slice notation. Pitfalls. Developer might expect something like, string.reverse, the native idiomatic, aka Pythonic, solution may not be readable to newer developers. Developer may be tempted to implement his or her own version of string.reverse to avoid slice notation. The output of slice notation may be counterintuitive in some cases. See for example, example 02. Print q underscore 8 underscore grouping minus 4 column, hash equals pin compared to print q underscore 8 underscore grouping minus 4 column minus 1. Hash equals pin compared to print q underscore 8 underscore grouping minus 1, hash equals g. The different outcomes of indexing on minus 1 may throw some developers off. Rationale. Python has a special circumstance to be aware of. A string is an iterable type. One rationale for excluding a string.reverse method is to give Python developers incentive to leverage the power of this special circumstance. In simplified terms, this simply means each individual character in a string can be easily operated on as a part of a sequential arrangement of elements, just like arrays in other programming languages. To understand how this works, reviewing example 02 can provide a good overview. Example 02.
Conclusion. The cognitive load associated with understanding how slice notation works in Python may indeed be too much for some adopters and developers who do not wish to invest much time in learning the language. Nevertheless, once the basic principles are understood, the power of this approach over fixed string manipulation methods can be quite favorable. For those who think otherwise, there are alternate approaches, such as lambda functions, iterators, or simple one-off function declarations. If desired, a developer can implement her own string.reverse method. However, it is good to understand the rationale behind this aspect of Python. See also. Alternate simple approach, alternate simple approach, alternate explanation of slice notation.
Enfim, banda Senhor, e consiga essa frase.